Hi, welcome to Medicoria. In today's video, I'm hosting a very handsome gentleman, a colleague who also happens to be my very wonderful enemy, Pius. In today's video, we shall be talking about events that surround death, basically on our experiences, because a lot of people wonder what really happens during the time of death and what could possibly be lying on the other end. We do not want to claim to have died, but we happen to go through events that actually almost led us to death, to the point that we actually accepted death, and only then were we brought back to life. We had a chat about this and we found it very interesting, and we decided that we should come and share this with the world out there, with you, and perhaps also add a scientific argument to it and try to explain some of the events that actually we experienced, how it was. So basically that's what we shall be taking you through in this video. So I think Pi will share his story first, and then I'll go after that before we bring in the scientific bit of it. So Pi, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Brother Emmanuel Oriada, a colleague, coursemate, a friend, and an enemy. So I also greet you guys watching Medicoria and would encourage you to subscribe and hit the like button so that we can keep these videos rolling and you don't miss out anything. Talking about the topic of death or near-death experience, this is something that you can be, for me I call it lucky, to have experienced one, because your life cannot remain the same having gone through such an experience. It's a profound personal experience. You experience death or impending death. Usually comes when you least expect it. It's not because someone can be reckless or engage in risky behavior. It can range from infection when you are sick. Sometimes when you are just overjoyed, when you have many things, a crash involved in an accident, and you experience such a phenomenon, which only you can explain, actually not fully, like the way you experience it, you cannot express that feeling fully, because sometimes you just lack the words to best describe what you went through. So for my case, I remember it was around 2013 there. It was like a party. We go out with colleagues, with buddies to swim. So I would say I was a good swimmer. But something happened that day that as we were swimming, this was a beach, a lake. So I happened to lose balance and I slipped. Before I knew, I had been washed by the waves back to the deep ocean, the open lake, and I couldn't control my body anymore. I started choking, and that's when I realized that actually I was drowning. So what I experienced then, it was painful, knowing that I was choking, I was drowning, but suddenly something happened to me that changed the way I felt and the way I experienced the whole event. So out of the blue, suddenly I felt no more pain. I felt the greatest comfort. I was very much comfortable. Felt no pain whatsoever, physical, mental. Made peace with life, made peace with myself. A thought ran through my mind, and I accepted that I was not getting out of this. Actually, I was dying. But it was a peaceful event for which I remember I could not struggle anymore. I could not swim anymore. I looked up above the surface of water, the water. I could see a good place. It's like it was bright. It looked great. I could see, I would not say people, but figures above the surface of the water. And it appeared to me that it was a better place above where, as seen from where I was lying down at the bed. And I could no longer hold I could not hold any longer on life. I was like, maybe death is not all that bad. Like, I accepted. I accepted. Then, for a moment, I recapped on my life. The whole story came back to me, what I've gone through, what I had achieved so far, up to the point of engaging with colleagues, the party, the swimming, how we planned. But I could only remember the good things, the good stuff I've had in life. And I think it was a way of saying farewell to to the world. yeah, it's saying farewell to the world. So I don't recall exactly for how long this took, for how long the whole process took, from the point of falling into the water to being brought back to the beach. Because what I remember very well is that I woke up later on. I woke up. I was on the beach, on the field. People around me, yes. You know, they looked scared and, you know, like they were afraid. They were afraid for whatever thing that had happened to me. Maybe they thought I was dead or something like that. But I came back to life only to realize that I was on the beach. I don't remember the process of getting out of the water to that point. So when I woke up, the pain started. I had severe chest pain. I was coughing, coughing out water. I was, you know, and what surprised me is that I could recall each and everything that has transpired down there in the water. I could recall it, but I was not the same person anymore. There are things that happen if you go through a near-death experience. There's a way you change. You don't see the world, you don't look at life with the same lens as you had before you go through such experience. So one thing that struck me, I remember sitting up with colleagues and I was like, so this is how death feels. It's painless. I think death is painless. Secondly, death is closer to us than we think. More closer to us than we think. And it's only if you go through a trying moment like that, that you learn to appreciate each moment you've lived on earth. Each moment of your life, you learn to appreciate it. Because when I was drowning, I recalled only the good that has, there was a recap of only the good that has happened to me. I saw my brothers, my friends, you know. It makes me think that it does no harm to act good, if I would say in quotes, in life, because possibly at the end of our journeys on life, it's the good that will matter, it's the good that will have an impact, both on our lives and the people we've been living with, because it's the only thing that came back to me. I've done maybe bad things somewhere.
Obviously, that's why we're enemies, actually.
yes, but all that all those bad memories, bad experiences never came back to me. Then also I realized that actually I tried to isolate myself. I couldn't share fully what I went through with people because of, you know, near-death experience is associated with there are three things that control it. You can look at it in the context of, like, there is the science part of it. There is the cultural part of it, and then there's the spiritual or religious part of it. So depending on which side you want to stand, if you tell people what you went through, there is a higher chance that people will take the medical or scientific part of it and they're like, oh, this guy is running mad. He saw things I saw. Right now, that's why I detested from using the word, I saw as if heaven. above water. I use the word, I saw a nice place.
Okay.
Which looks nice above water. Because of that, yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, when I sat down in my room, I went back home. The clinical symptoms are not severe. The breathing got normal. Chest pain went with time. But, you know, like I said, you don't remain the same. I realized that I had become more empathetic. Trust me, right now I'm a person who does not believe in doing harm. Doing harm. I became more empathetic. When you look at someone, always stand in their shoes. There's this logical thinking we have, someone comes into this condition, you know, I always use the side of medicine because that's where I go.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's my context. But when you look at someone, I always look at them with empathy. What if it was me? Because I've gone through such a situation. What if it was me? How would I like to be treated? What should be done for me? Then I act basing on that. I saw that my passion for saving life, doing good increased after that experience, but also self-esteem and confidence increased. When there is a topic and there is right and wrong, and I decide to choose maybe right, I'm confident you cannot change that decision except in face of convincing evidence. Like, because what do I have to fear anymore in this world? Usually we fear death, but I've gone through that. So
nothing.
You cannot scare me with death.
Okay.
To me, I don't like it. I don't want to die. Now, there are things I want to do.
I thought you would want to experience the same beautiful stuff that you experienced, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to die. Much as the experience was good. It was good, but you cannot scare me with that.
Okay.
Because now I've learned that, yes, death is closer to us. Death is painless. That moment of death is painless. And it brings back good memories. At least you go. The ride, I think, is not boring.
Oh.
The ride is good.
It's fun.
According to me.
To the time of your life.
You feel relaxed. You know, especially where you do not think, you don't worry about anything in life. You've given up. You make peace with yourself. You accept to sail along. So it changes you.
I see.
It changes you, and that is for the better, however. For some, having gone through such an experience, maybe they did too many bad things, and instead of good memories coming back, they just had...
You watch a horror movie of yourself.
Of yourself, you get it. So
funny.
I think for those guys, those are the guys who develop psychosis. But for my case, I think I became a better person.
One comment that you made, you know, the whole death thing was, you know, very peaceful, very beautiful. It felt like a movie. It felt like a dream. Then it looks like you would have preferred to stay down there than to be brought back up, because when you brought back up, that's when the pain came. I think you might have felt better if you had just gone peacefully. Or did you, for some reason, blame these guys for letting you go through the pain after again?
I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you. The peaceful part came in when I learned that I'm now dead. I'm going to die. You know, in the first instances, what happened, for example, you know, I was swimming, a wave came above, it tossed me over. So when I was roaring, that's when I was washed back. I tried to struggle without success. So that's when my mind said, you know what, Pius?
It's going.
Do you know that you are going to die? And I answered myself, yeah, bro, I'm going. So that's when the good experience began.
After making peace with it, after accepting that you're going.
After
giving up.
Giving up on life. So when you give up on life, peacefully, voluntarily, I think it's a good experience to go. Yeah.
So in other words, you're advising me if at some point I am faced with death, I should just accept rather than try to not believe.
Actually, I think it's not your choice to make. Okay. It's not your choice to make, because having experienced the good things and the memories coming back and seeing a better place ahead of me, I think I had no control about choosing to go or to
Oh,
remain.
come back, yeah.
Because I was just pulled out of the water and put aside for recovery. So I don't think you will make a choice that let me stay or let me go back to life.
I see.
This is a one-way route.
Oh.
You get it? So you accept because the only choice you have is to accept.
I see.
But if I'm to make a choice between life and death, I think life is better.
You don't want life the other side.
Life is better. Life is not. You can never be lonely. It's rare to be lonely. You have people who disturb you around, enemies like to tease you around. But all the same, life is better because up to now I'm not sure whether. Yeah, no. If I'm to speak as a scientist, as a medic, I'm not sure of life, the other side of the story. But as a Catholic, I know there is purgatory and heaven.
Okay.
So that's why I told you, which lenses are you using to discuss this matter? As a scientist, I think life is better because it's only if you are alive that you can make a change. You cannot change anything if you are dead.
I see.
But religiously, having that near-death experience makes you more spiritual.
I see.
You may not become more religious because to me, religious is like a set of rules and values we follow, but it's all in the name of a certain deity. But spirituality is personal.
I see. Yeah, that's a wonderful story right there. Well, quite different from mine. Mine wasn't as very beautiful as that was. I didn't really see all that heaven-like stuff. But there is quite a lot in common with my story. Because mine, it was during the COVID pandemic, during the first lockdown that we had in Uganda. Around that time, it was very difficult to access health and other services. So I had a family friend that called me to go see his son because the son was sick. So I rode across town. I was on a bicycle. I rode across town and, went, talked to them, gave them my expert advice and stuff like that. And then I was riding back home. So it happened around a junction. I was going straight and there was a gentleman driving behind me. He was supposed to turn. So he didn't allow me enough time to go. And then before he turned, I think he was sort of in a rush. I don't understand. So all I remember is I had this loud engine noise coming from far behind me. And I was asking myself, should I get worried about this noise or I should assume this guy has enough common sense to, let me use the road like any other road user. But then, the noise was getting louder and nearer. And then something inside me began to tell me, I think something is about to go wrong. But somehow I still had that belief that perhaps, I'm just being worried for nothing, just keep riding. The next thing I noticed is a woman screaming right up ahead of me and holding, her head with her hands. And then I hear this loud, knocking sound like poof. And then from that moment onwards, I don't know what really happened, but I could somehow understand what's going on, but it's like my mind is also shutting down. So it's like I'm having this dream-like experience. Is it real? Is it not real? Mm-hmm. So all through, I could roughly tell where I am. Yes, I'm flying up. I'm now landing, but even after landing, it still felt like I was floating. Still felt like I was floating.
Enjoying.
Yeah, I fell on tarmac. I slid, but it all felt like I'm floating, and I could just hear some rough thing. It was painless, completely painless. I could try to figure out which part of the road I have landed, but my eyes are open. I'm trying to look, but it's all dark. I can't see anything. Like the whole system has shut down. I can't hear a single thing. I can't feel my body. And then I'm asking myself whether I'm dead or alive. But then somehow I still know I'm alive because I still feel I'm on Earth, but it just doesn't feel real. It's like I'm floating. I can't see, I can't hear. It's all dark. I don't have any senses going on. It took a bit of like a few seconds while I'm in that state. And then my senses just began to recover slowly. It was also this dreamlike experience. the eyes are just, becoming, it's starting to open slowly. It's very blurry, and then they take their own time to become clear. The noises, I think people had been making a lot of noise and screaming and all that thing, but I couldn't hear. But then slowly the sounds were returning, and very, very, low volume sounds, and the volume is increasing slowly, slowly. But up until this time, I don't feel any pain yet. So once I have my sight back, my hearing back, I figure out that I'm actually in the middle of the road. I could see my bike had fallen over the other side. The tires were all bent and out of shape. So I decided to get up and walk away from the road because I was worried perhaps something would again come from behind me and then knock. But all the time I was still disoriented. I wasn't sure where I was going, but I got up. I could hear people screaming and telling me to sit down again, but I didn't feel comfortable remaining on the road. So I remember walking off the road, and then I sat down. And then this gentleman had stopped a few meters ahead. He was scared. He all came. And then he was asking if I could be put in his car so that he could maybe drive me to the hospital. But I didn't trust him enough because, people do weird things. Because we have something in our country where they say, you rather go to court with a dead body than with a living being because they think they'll spend more in terms of charges and damages on a living person than on a dead person. Yeah. So I didn't accept to sit in that car. I decided that I would find my own way to the hospital, and then I would follow him up later, maybe if we were to discuss any other stuff. Up until that point, I'm actually able to stand, I'm able to walk. So a good Samaritan helped me to push my bike, and I'm walking. So I walked about maybe 200 meters. That's when the pain also begins to come. And then I begin to realize, okay, because looking at the position of the pain, it's just, over the ribs and stuff. I'm beginning to worry, could I have ruptured my kidney? Could I have ruptured my liver? Oh my God, the pain is becoming excruciating. I had to sit down, and then they put me on a boda. That's motorcycle riders, and that's the person who took me to the hospital. They did a few scans, and I was okay. But the whole experience is that, during the time when all this stuff was happening, my senses sort of shut down. I don't know if it's the body's way of protecting me from all the pain that I would have experienced while dying. But the system shut down, no sight, no hearing, no pain, and then the senses return, slowly and slowly and slowly. So that was basically my experience. It wasn't as dramatic as yours. I didn't really, reflect on a lot of things. It was just a debate of, am I dying, am I not? I think I'm dying. I think I'm going. I think I'm really going. I think my head is crushed.
Until you want to say, I'm going.
But I think that the big thing here is that there is a way the body has a way of killing all the pain. And then going back to read, the physiology of pain and all that stuff, I get to learn that we actually have the analgesic pathways, sort of ways that the body has in place to help you kill pain that would otherwise be excruciating pain. Yeah, so there is the central pathway and the peripheral pathway that help you to. So I think the body has that mode in which it can save you from experiencing all of that traumatizing pain to make maybe the transition very peaceful. Yeah, so I think also from that point onward, I began to look at death differently. I stopped fearing it. Because back then I would see pictures of people who have been knocked by vehicles, and I think they've really gone through a lot of pain. And while they were transitioning to the other side, I wouldn't actually wish for a road traffic accident as a way of transitioning. I would actually always think perhaps I should just die in my sleep or something. But I think it's not as painful as we think. I think the experience is different. You might be worried about that person who is going through it, but perhaps that person is having a whole different experience altogether. Yeah, and even this ones who bleed out, I think actually their brain shut down even before they have the chance to feel the pain. Because, you by the time you lose 1 liter of blood, you're going unconscious, you don't know what's happening around. So you may see their body moving, but I don't think they're really feeling, they don't understand what's going on. So I think death is that kind of death. I can't really say the same thing about these people who maybe suffer a lot in the hospital, or maybe would take gunshots or things like that.
I think for as long as you still feel pain, you are living. Okay. That's what I learned.
By the way, that's how I got to know that I was still alive.
Also, near-death experience can be explained using the psychological models. For example, some claim, people who have done research, some claim that it's actually a dissociation that occurs in which, in an effort for the brain not to let you go through the pains and the stress of death,
it chooses to dissociate you from the real surroundings.
Oh.
So that's when you look at your imaginations of you looking at your body somewhere separated from your soul. So the thing of soul comes in at that point. However, there was a big question about why do you experience good or bad memories? Why do memories still come back? So in another argument, that's using the explanatory model, this is psychology, it's because we often tend to wish, like human beings are always wishing for something every now and then. So a religious person has been wishing to go to heaven upon their death automatically. When that time comes and they are nearing their death, like what we went through, you and I, you will see yourself going to heaven.
Oh.
I don't know whether...
Are you trying to say I didn't believe in heaven? Because I believed in heaven, but I didn't see any of this stuff. Mine was just, blank. My dead.
But good enough you did not see yourself walking to a shrine. Then that also is good. That one is also good. Yeah, also people have been longing for love and care. Usually we see their loved ones, parents, children, partners when that time comes. So there is a debate. There's a debate, but at least in summary for me, what I can at least agree upon and defend is that the real point of death seems not to be painful.
Oh, yeah.
By the time you experience it, it's not painful.
Very peaceful,
so actually, all of us, I think, should be feeling pain, because pain, I think, is the sign of life.
Yeah. As long as you feel pain, you're still here.
You are still with us.
Once the pain is gone, you're gone.
Just you're on the journey.
I see. I think it really makes a lot of sense. So I hope you people are no longer afraid of death. I hope from this point onwards you're motivated to die. Not exactly so. Yeah, but I think death is not such a terrible experience as we tend to think. You might see this person like they're going through pain, but it may not really be the case. And I think you should also stop to fear death. I don't know if I'm still as afraid of death as I used to be. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think death shouldn't be feared that much. I think we should make peace with it. It's a reality. And for those who are curious about the experience, I think you've heard from experience, and I believe you can also go out there and read literature about it, because there are people who have interviewed several people who have gone through experiences like ours, and they share perhaps similar or different stories from ours. So interest yourself in finding out about this, and get to make peace with the truth. Otherwise, I thank you so much for watching. In case you've gone through a similar experience, feel free to share your experience down in the comment box below. And in case you've enjoyed, don't forget to smash the like button like he said already. And to make sure you don't miss out on similar content in the future, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button or the link that's going to appear on your screen bearing the logo of Medical Inner Circle. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you get notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.